So Senator Cruz's relative successes in Colorado and beyond are prompting a series of reports suggesting that there may be disorganization inside of Team Trump. Politico declared Monday Trump campaign in disarray. And this Wednesday from NBC, infighting, frustration, rile Trump's team, say sources. Today, the Washington Post saying Donald Trump's terrible night in Colorado exemplifies his campaign's Achilles heel. But is that true? Joining me now, Katrina Pierson, national spokesperson for the Trump campaign, and Rich Lowry, who's a Fox News contributor and editor at National Review. Good to see you both. So, Katrina, the media, they love these stories. We saw this 4 years ago, saw it 4 years before. Any sort of campaign shuffle or shakeup of any sort, it's like, they're falling apart. So you tell me whether that is real or that is wishful thinking by the publications we just listed.
It is completely wishful thinking. You know, the rumors of the Trump campaign demise are greatly exaggerated. What we are seeing is the party apparatus in these states, which is how the delegates are chosen, and you just went through that entire discussion. Mr. Trump has won 21 states. Senator Cruz has won 9. We won 7 of Senator Cruz's states that he was supposed to win. But yet there's this magical ground game that we're talking about because Cruz is racking up delegates, and the reason for that simply is this delegate system is an extension of the state Republican Party. Therefore, a construction worker who maybe has 2 shifts and only been involved in the process for 1 or 2 cycles is not going to make it beyond the pyramid process from the precinct level or even the congressional district. He is working with the establishment, and that's how he's getting those delegates.
Everything she just said is right. Is it not, Rich? I mean, that is all true, is it not?
Yeah, and I think anyone who's writing Trump's political obituary is making a huge mistake. A big win in New York, a big win in California. He picks off a few unexpected states in between. He could get to 1237, above 1237, and all this is kind of academic. But it is true the Trump campaign wasn't built for this. It was basically built as a media operation with Donald Trump going from phone interview to phone interview, and that worked brilliantly, much better than anyone would have expected. But now we may really be getting into this granular delegate-by-delegate fight, and Ted Cruz is built for that because, and there's nothing corrupt about it or establishment about it, it's just that his campaign is a grassroots campaign that depends on organizing. This is what it's been from the beginning, and if he wins the nomination, that's what it's going to be at the end.
The Republican Party, for all of its history, has given power to these delegates. It's just we haven't really paid any attention to it. Katrina, let me ask you, because there were also reports that Donald Trump is, he's taken a few days, and he's, you know, not as much on Twitter, and he's kind of thinking about things, and he brought in this guy Manafort, who everybody says is very good. Is there a shift happening here, or what is happening?
Well, there's an expansion that's happening here, and if it were true, what Rich said is that he has this masterful, that Ted Cruz has this masterful ground game, he would have won those 7 states that Donald Trump won, so it's simply not true. The Trump campaign is focused, and as Mr. Manafort said earlier today on an interview, every campaign has a turning point when it's time to focus on something else. Megan, you have to remember, when this first began in June and Mr. Trump shot to the top, it was he was very much the guy to beat. Now we have the GOP establishment joining with some conservatives who supposedly wanted to fight the establishment, and we have this anti-Trump movement. On top of that, we have the GOP literally telling everyone we are not going to let the people choose our nominee. So of course Mr. Trump brings in someone that specializes in the convention process because, again, this is a party apparatus. They've already publicized the fact that they don't want Trump or Cruz. So if Cruz wants to allow himself to be that Trojan horse at the convention, go right ahead. But we are confident that we are going to get those delegates by the time we get there.
What do you think of that, Rich? Is there a chance, you know, I mean, a realistic chance that Trump is going to get that 1237 number before or as of June 7th, which is the very last day that they vote?
There's some quite realistic chance. I'd say 30% chance or so. But if it goes to a convention, the rule is you have to get a majority of delegates, and there's a reason for that rule. It's very basic. That's the minimum requirement for showing you have a consensus of the party. And if no one gets there, then the role of the delegates comes in. And
but let me just say, if you're looking for consensus, and you get to the second ballot, and still somebody, you know, who we just saw, one of those 3 guys, doesn't get it, and they do parachute in a 3rd person, I guess a 4th person, because Kasich's up there too. That's not a consensus candidate.
Yeah, well, I think that scenario is very unlikely, and I would counsel against it. But the paradox that, and I want to underline a point that Tucker made, the general election polls are very important, because the paradox of Trump is he's rocketed to front-runner status in the Republican nomination battle. At the same time, he has made himself toxic with the general public. Nearly 70% disapproval rating in this AP poll this week. Donald Trump loves to talk about polls. There's a reason he's not talking about general election polls very much recently. Also in that AP poll, 30% of Republicans say they wouldn't vote for Donald Trump in the fall. That is a party heading to a debacle. And there's no way delegates, if they have a major role at this convention, are going to forge a suicide pact with Donald Trump for the fall.
He's got to reach out. Megan, in that same poll,
yep.
Ted Cruz is at 60% unfavorable, and Hillary Clinton's only 5 points down from Trump. There have been many elections in the past where the front runner at this point in time was 20 to 25 points behind.
I think it's Donald Trump's at 69% unfavorable. Ted Cruz is at 59% unfavorable, and Hillary Clinton is down at 55% unfavorable. So you pick your poison, American people. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thanks so much.